Weapons is the newest horror film written and directed by Zach Cregers, one of the more exciting up-and-coming film directors. His film debut, Barbarian, released in 2022, was a surprising hit among audiences and critics alike. And from the discourse around the film, it was praised for having an intuitive story with unpredictable twists and turns. Funny enough, I haven't seen the film, but this in a lot of ways sounds the same when it comes to Weapons. Weapons was another one of the highly anticipated films for me due to the buzz around Zach Cregers as a director, but mainly due to the premise and promotion around the film, which I thought was great. The only thing I knew about this film was the premise about 17 children walking out of their houses at exactly 2:17 a.m. With that premise and the original teaser trailer of the children running out of their houses, I was hooked. The film has been gaining an online popularity and excitement with audiences, reminding me of how popular and fresh last year's Longlegs was talked about. So I was excited, but without too high of expectations going into the film. Now, I will try my best to not give too much away because this film is more of a mystery than a horror, so I will only be discussing the film's structure and sections within the film. If you consider this a spoiler, please skip to this timestamp or check the description to hear my thoughts on the film entirely. With that being said, Weapons was a film that I immediately kind of struggled with. The film as a whole is well made. Not having seen Barbarian, Zach Cregers strikes me as a filmmaker who knows the tropes of horror very well. The film has typical horror genre aspects to it, but the film itself doesn't bog down with the genre of horror. The film itself is more of a mystery or comedy with horror elements. The structure of the film allows for it to flow with a sense of multitude of genres. So there are moments of horror that are followed by jokes or just straight terrific horror scenes that can be genuinely unnerving. I will say the film has a lot of comedic elements, and honestly to me it isn't as scary as is what it's been portrayed to be, but essentially the film is really a mystery that is more inclined to make the audience want to understand this plot the more it unravels. All the acting within the film is solid. The music, edit, and pace never allows for the film to drag down. Every scene feels appropriately paced, edited, and shot. The script itself isn't anything outstanding. Every character isn't written with much depth at all, but I was still entertained by their roles within the story. This film has an unconventional structure around the plot. The film is unraveling the mystery as to why these kids left their houses, why these particular kids left their houses, and who is to be blamed for this happening. The film switches to the perspective of a few different characters until they inevitably cross paths with one another throughout the plot. Now, you may be thinking that this is the part of the film where I struggled the most, and you will be correct. This structure or plot device, I guess, really made the film hard to get through for me. Initially, the first characters were my favorite. They are the most entertaining compared to others. Their paths to one another were really the only ones, in my opinion, that felt genuine and the most natural involving within the plot. Like, the other characters in the film aren't useless at all, especially one character who probably had the most screen time other than the first and second characters. But by the time we get to them, I felt bored, to be honest. This plot device structurally doesn't allow for any sort of development, nor does this increase the stakes within the story. Towards the end, the film breaks away from this structure entirely, and the film for me became the most interesting once that break happens. I can't say that this structure was ineffective in making the mystery more engaging at all, because it definitely added to what the film was hiding from the audience. It made the release for the reveal of the mystery very satisfying, but in my opinion, once the film has got into the reveal, it felt like the film actually started in a certain type of way. Imagine you had just woken up from a nap while watching a TV show, and the episode you're on is the finale, but it still feels like you didn't miss a single thing. This point in the film was where my interest came back. From that midsection to the ending is the best part of the film for me. The reveal within is genuinely very interesting and weird, to say the least. The incorporation of the build-up mixed in with the reveal feels satisfying once we break out of that plot structure and the film is able to breathe without forcing this device down our throats. And the film is more engaging and interesting because of it. I honestly think the last 40 minutes are amazing. There's gore, comedy, sadness, and strange moments up until we get into the ending. And the ending was. It literally felt like the writing just said, oh yeah, and this happens. That's it. It's one of the most lazy endings I have seen in a while. Not lazy where the point of it is to be lazy, but rather genuinely the writers didn't know how to end the story and wrote it out at the last second. I'm not sure if general audiences would care too much about how open-ended this plot feels. Like, the movie leaves a lot up in the air, and I understand that this film is going for those classic 70s like horror films where the logic is just this or that, but some kind of understanding of what is going on would have been nice to know. Some type of development or substance would have made a difference. And really, if the ending wasn't so abrupt and tried harder, these questions would have been okay left unanswered. But after watching this film, I'm thinking of it less and less by the end of the day. In the end, this film will fail to be anything special. I would probably never think about this film again or feel the need to rewatch it knowing the reveal and knowing this offers nothing outside of that reveal. And that's why I say I struggle with this film. As a film itself, it isn't bad at all on every aspect it sets out to be. The movie succeeded in what it wanted to do to the audience, but in the end, that lack of substance makes me wonder, was it really all that worth it? Was the gotcha moment really worth my time? For some may say yes. For me, I just say, okay, whatever. And that is my review for Weapons. Not a horrible film per se or anything really not worth your time. I do think that the reveal and the build up to the reveal is still very entertaining for most people. But for me, this film just was a bit disappointing in what it was doing and the structure and the way that it wanted to get to that reveal. Definitely say, if you still have interest in this film, or if you're a fan of Zach Krieger's, or if you're genuinely a horror fan, go see this film. Please support it. Please give your honest opinions on it. And if you genuinely love this film, that is great. It just wasn't the best thing for me. I plan on giving out more videos, stuff outside of film, ranking videos coming soon. And I'm having another project that I'm working with that truly shows my mind and what I appreciate the most out of film and why I appreciate film.